All right, everybody, welcome to Monday night and my new laptop because my old laptop got smoked. So hopefully the audio on this one is a little bit better, so I don't have to wear my headset, my little and microphone and stuff like that. So Buddy's here; he can let me know if I sound like decent or not. And then let's. What do we do? We're going to share screen. We need to get this started. Don't show these tips again. Share screen. Share this. Oh, we could probably do that a little bit better. Let's try again. Is that good enough? All right, cool. 69 Coronet 500. Howdy to you. Fun with cars. Everyone from Buffalo, Niagara Falls. What's going on, man? Brandon Shadow Ops, Granddad's Junk. See what's going on. And well, how do you like the new laptop, the new camera? I don't have to wear my headset for audio. Hopefully, it sounds decent. If it doesn't, let me know. That'd be great. But we're slowly putting things back together. Was able to parse almost 50 videos from stuff that I had saved, and here and there places I found. So that's getting better on the new channel. Sounds good. Oh, okay. All right. Five out of five. Good. And since the old laptop was smoked, so I got this brand new one, which has very little on it. It has um, one download, which is the video editor, and that's about it on this thing. That's about it. We're not putting anything else on this computer. Um, for some reason, YouTube had me set for personal notifications, which doesn't work. I don't. Is it on the new channel, Brandon? And maybe they don't because it's a new channel. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll hang out here for a little bit. Kerosene and cucumbers. Hello, everyone. Well, hello to you, sir. Thanks for popping in on a Monday night. Still have a 1965 Barracuda for sale. Let's see if we can see if I get a good picture of it here because I don't have anything. Like I said, I don't have anything on this computer. Where are the pictures I took to? Oh boy! All right, so much for this phone. But here's. Can we? What? There we go. Boom. If you'd like to own this 1965 Barracuda, let me know in the comments. It's for sale on Facebook Marketplace in Nashville for the reduced price of only $5,500. And it's quite the deal for what you're getting. KJ Kelly, all the no name national videos are coming out. Look like fun. Yeah, it's generally a fun event. I went to it the first year. In fact, I was the first car to go down the track of the first year in the Ranger. So I got that going for me. I just haven't been back. I thought about a little bit going back this year. There were some folks there I would have liked to say hi to. Jamie was out there, and a bunch of regular folks that I'd talk with and chat with and stuff like that. And it's only like 3.5 hours from here. So if I would just drive out on a Saturday just to bum around the pits and say hi to everybody, that would have been Okay, but it was like 95 degrees. And I'm like, no, forget it. I'll stay home and sit in the pool and then enjoy the last couple of days of summer here. Um, you can get replacement panels and floor for it. Yeah, you can. The rear quarters are a little tough to get on there. The floors, there's patches. There's a place out in Washington State that makes patches, but it's been patched. It's been riveted and welded up, and the floor it's got a floor in it. Is it pretty? Does it function? Yeah. Does it keep the outside out and the inside in? Yeah. And new carpets and refoam the seats, and so it's okay. And that's as okay as I'm going to make that car. That car needs a new owner. So if that's kind of the main mission for this week is to get rid of that by the first, because we have to take. Well, I got to move my Falcon from the back garage to the front garage, which I've said before. To finish that, I need to go get the Ranger out of the storage at the Speed Lab so we can make room for the Belvedere, and the motor in the Belvedere should be going in this week, and then we can do some Belvedere videos. Hopefully we can do some Belvedere videos and come up with some good content. Fun with cars, yes. I'm in Tennessee by Uncle Tony's. In fact, I'm kind of dead smack in the middle. If you draw a line from his house to his shop, my house is kind of right in the middle there. So yeah, we're in Murfreesboro. We're all here hanging out. Correct, sir. Seems no condition would be a good project. Yeah, and if you like if you're into these early A body Mopars and stuff like that, this one's a good one to start with. I mean, the frame rails are all good. It's had suspension work. It's had brake work. It's had a little engine work, even though it's the number 8 cylinder is a little bit weak. It's had some light interior work on it. All the glass is there. All the wiring's intact. It hasn't been hacked apart. Has been made a hot rod and in every other kind of thing. So it's basically stock. The only thing that's really not stock on it anymore is the 4-barrel intake, which I put on. But that's, just for fun. Other than that, it's and people see it and they're like, oh, that's a cute little car. It's an acquired taste, I guess. If I fell in love with it, I would keep it. I haven't. I don't think I ever will. So it just needs to go. I'd rather have. There's. I want to replace it with one of 3 vehicles. One of 4. Let's be fair. I want another Mustang because I think this is the longest time in my life I haven't actually owned a Ford Mustang since I was 15. I take a Bronco, an old one, 90s, 80s and 90s Bronco, 80s, 90s Ford F100 or F150, or 71, 72 El Camino. Those kind of, one of those 4 are going to take Smog's place up in the garage after Smog is gone. So we'll just see what happens. Hopefully buying a door for what? What are you saying here? Hoping to buy a door for apartments and blind blades so I can move to another unit. Okay. You prefer the left turn in second gear Mustang option? Yes, I've had many of those. Yep. And I've done it to myself. Buddy, what year Mustang do you prefer? I don't know. I've had 50 of every year. It seems like. The older or the younger person in me still wants a 69, 70, 65, all the old ones, stuff like that. And I'm like, the older me, like, oh, I've done those so many times. And to get the car that I want, which would be a 69 fastback big block car, is stupid money. I've had the newest one I had was a 14, which I took on Power Tour in 2018. Great car for that. I've had millions of Fox bodies, which I love. I've had, in between cars, I had a 98 Cobra that I really just drove the snot out of for years when I was in Texas. And somewhat back when I was living in Vegas again. Love that car. The Cobra with the 5-speed, and it was how about a Mach-E Mustang? How many of those? None. None. Not only, and if anything else, they're just ugly. And they're not comfortable. I've sat in them and I've been like, this sucks. You know, much less it's kind of a 4-door, it's a grandma SUV, all that kind of stuff, regardless of how, but it's just ugly to me. I think they're ugly. So no, I will not be driving a Mach-E. I would trying to type on a phone sucks. Oh, okay. No, I wouldn't get one of those. Yeah, me too. But I'm looking. I don't know. I like the 94 95s. I like the 98 if it's a Cobra. The 98 just in stock form is a little weak. You got to do some headwork and some cams and some exhaust and some gears to make those cars go. Mach-E, yeah. Which I'm not opposed to doing all that light stuff because that's all like afternoon stuff, no big deal. I'd like to find one for a change that has paint on it. That's nice. And it's all like it should be. It's not boogered and hacked and 7 paint jobs and 4 missing titles and 3 mismatched tires and all that BS. And I'm not opposed to like an 05, an 06. I like the way those cars look. I don't need to go super fast anymore. The ones with like my 14 with the cow motor are just a blast, but do I need all that just for a car to get in and be happy and cruise around with? Maybe, but I doubt it. Yeah, they should have called it a Pinto, an E Pinto. That would have been funny as shit. Where was I going? I don't remember. But yeah, just as long as it's a decent car, it doesn't have to be super loud and ratty and make no. It's I just want to get in it, hop in it, and cruise. So, I mean, I would take a, you know, I just want something nice, an old car that's nice. I have all these new cars which are boring, so I want something a little bit, you know, um, fun with cars. When I worked at a Ford store a couple years ago, the BDC scheduled a Mach-E for an oil change and tire rotation, and the work order said Mustang. When I verified the oil change, he just looked at me funny. Yeah, I would imagine that's how. I'm going to move my screen up here so I can read things a little bit better. So if I'm looking up at this point, it's not. It's just me looking up. Um, Jerry Van is here. Hi, Jerry. What's going on? This is the new laptop, the new computer, the new look. You can see the. Maybe I can, if I'm up there, I can turn that down a little, then you don't see the ceiling fan making everybody dizzy. Six Pinto Part 2, yeah. Own any Mustang 2s? No. I haven't. I've worked on bunches of them. I've had buddies that had really fast Mustang 2s. Just not my thing. Um, I'm not a hater on them like a lot of people are. They're just not my thing. Um, they're kind of a bear to work on because all this like the suspension and everything like that's fine, but underneath it, everything is so tight on there. To run a decent exhaust, to run a bigger transmission, to run big tires, to run big brakes, stuff like that. It's you got to just change everything, and then if you're going to change everything to the newer spec, you might as well just drive a newer car. Um, why not pick up a '98 Cobra instead? And then that's got all this stuff on it. It's got the 4-valve, which runs fine in stock form. You do a little tuning on it, little exhaust. Those things fly. They take very well to suspension tweaks, spring sway bars, stuff like that. Mine had a full Hotchkiss suspension on it. Handled beautifully, rode beautifully, drove straight, low to the ground, super fast. It was a good time. I'd take 5 more of them, really. Yeah, true. Yeah. So if you want conventional or synthetic electrons, yeah, that's pretty good. Saline would be fun. Yeah, one of the old Fox Body Salines. That'd be fun. But the problem with, again, when you get into a car that's from 1990, that's 30 plus years old now, it's generally worn out. Generally doesn't have good interior paint, and it's just worn out and thrashed. So those cars, yes, while they are cool, and I would love a nice, clean, unmolested Fox body, but again, you'd pay for it, or you'd have to do like a 4-cylinder conversion, and again, it's why. So you're better off with going something a little bit newer. I mean, I take an 05, 06, 07. I like that body style. The 14s and up, I like those. I think the new ones are a little big. And they can get a little pricey for what you get, I think. So we'll see. I'm picky. I probably won't end up with a vintage one or a classic one because they're a pain in the ass, and they're generally small inside. I'm not small. And I already have a Falcon. So I already got that car. And I've had hundreds of them. So we'll see what happens. It may all go to shit, and I may drag home something completely different. But and the wife wouldn't mind a Corvette. Not a big Corvette guy. I've worked on tons of the 70s and 80s era Corvettes, and they're a bear to work on again because everything's so small. But when they are right, they're a blast to drive. Really, they are. And if you get into the 80s, they're kind of lazy and slow and stuff like that. But if you get into like a 69 or 70, 350 horse with a 4-speed, that's a fun car. And it still gets looks that they're a blast to drive. They can get pricey because by this point in time, everything's worn out. So you got to replace everything in the suspension front and back, and that can get pricey. But despite their quirks and being very tight and stuff like that, but they are a blast to drive. They really are. So I wouldn't sell those short. I'll take an El Camino. Like I said, 70, 72. 71, 72, the single big headlight ones. I like those for any reason versus the 70 with the 4 headlights. And I'd also take a 64, 65 because I had a couple of those way back. I had one that was 65, the little body style square, that was teal because I was living in California. Teal, lowered on just a rally wheels and tinted windows. good chrome and paint and stuff like that. That car is beautiful. Just a little. It was just a little. Let's say maybe like 2-barrel 327 in it, and just freeway gears in it. But that you just get in that car and drive and be happy. It was great. So who knows? Looking for a driver. But yeah, take an IROC Z28 over a Mustang if you can find a clean IROC. And again, yes, they are cool. They're iconic. They scream 80s. Again, fun to drive, everything like that. But finding one anymore that's a million children had to get their fingers on and did bad shit to, you know. But so anyway, enough with that stuff. Working on, hang on. Working on getting the old email and the old channel resurrected. I believe at this point the old channel is completely eviscerated because I can find links in the interwebs that still the titles bring you back to that video, and you click on that video and it says this channel has been terminated by YouTube. Terminated. So what are you going to do with that? You can't appeal that, but first you got to have to get your email back. I tried everything I know short of hiring a hacker. I even purchased a Google One membership, subscription, whatever you want to call it, and got to talk to a human, went through all the steps with the human, and the human said, good luck. So, KG Kylie, Tahitian turquoise paint. I don't remember what color turquoise it was. It was painted by a couple guys at the auto shop on the Air Force Base. So it was like, I want something like pastel. I don't remember how I came up on teal because I'm not a green guy. I may have gotten talked into that color by one of the old guys out there that was helping the young guys at the time. To thing, and he said like, this is what it needs, and it was right. The car looked beautiful. It was the right car for that color with the body style and things like that. So I don't have. I think those pictures have been lost to time. Maybe. Hang on. I'm just looking through the big book of art. If I can see, because I do have some. From living out there. Gosh dang. Oh, I do have. Well, I got pictures of one of them. Some ratty pictures. When I said it was probably just a 320, like a 327. The glare is going to get you. There you go. Just a real basic motor. Like I said, some of those pictures have been gone. Here's my 71, 72, whatever year it was. Things like that. And even way back when, yes, we were building engines on the bench. Nice 350 small block with some nice little cam and all the Edelbrock stuff at the time. But I don't think I have any pictures. any more of that teal. Teal Mustang. It's only a concern. There's my 69 Fastback. Big block, drag pack car, 4-speed, killer, right? Oh, what I said before, I had buddies with Mustang 2s. It's a bad picture. It's been scratched over time. Let's see if I got a better one. Not in a console. There you go. And it had a tunnel ram, small block, and stuff like that on it. And again, yes, that was in the 80s. So there you go. Well, enough of that. But there we go. What do we got going on in the comments here? Did you ever do any tuning or adding a turbocharger to a 4.6 liter? No, I have not. I did do some tuning on one of the 4.6 Chrome Vic police cars that I had. Some timing and some extra fuel and stuff like that because I had opened up the exhaust and did a few more mods to it and stuff like that, and responded well. But no, I haven't put a turbo on one of them because they're a little weird. They're such a wide motor, and to get everything to fit in the engine bay, even with a big, huge Crown Vic engine bay, it's pretty awkward. Turbo LS and the Monty would be fun build. Well, I have the Turbo LS and the Ranger, and I could pluck the heart out of that thing because there's another motor I'd like to try in there. Yeah, those Mustang 2s were an odd batch. Yeah, but they were basically sported up Pinto, yes. But they were popular back in the time. I had a friend that had one. Did a lot of work on that car, stuff like that. So, for its day, it was all right. They're still kind of cheap and cheesy. Crown Vic, that's what my avatar is. Our rear mounted rear twin turbocharger, so it looks like it's a rear engine light. That'd be cool. I'd like to see more pictures of that. Your turbo setup, you could send the pictures here. Yeah, the last of the Monties were, LS4s, but are front wheel drive. Yeah, so that's no good. Nowadays, everything is expensive and cheesy and ugly. And they look like rolling potatoes that someone painted gray. Picture it. You'll never be able to see it any other way again. Because all the cars, they got the same kind of bloop shape, right? They're all gray, beige. They don't have any color on them. You're lucky if you get a black one or something with some color. And they're all basically, kind of the same inside. Doesn't matter what the badge is. Just pick the one that you happen to stumble on and drive it. It's who cares. Cars are not, personalized anymore. There's no cool two-door, Thunderbird, Challengers, Chargers, Mustangs, Camaros. Well, there's Mustang Camaros, but there was two-door Torinos and, two-door Monte Carlos, and, Chevelles and all kinds of cool stuff. Well, modern cars, yes, they do like any soul. My last money was a two-door aluminum. Yeah. They do like any soul and or any imagination or anything, or if you see something that's got a little that's either a little bit odd, oh, it's got some crazy headlights in it that do weird things or look this way, or they took some weird cues from a 90s Oldsmobile or 50s Chrysler, and oh, this is, ooh, look at our styling. um Even the cars that have semi good lines to them, like the new Audis, they have some real good lines, but they're still basically the same blob. They just kind of stretch out the front and stretch out the back a little bit and squish it down, make it wider. It's like they took the Play-Doh of a Taurus and went, now it's wider and longer. Oh, cool. That's our car. What do you think, boss? Okay, good, good. So, yeah, it's not about making cars, it's about making money. It used to be about making cars, but we've all covered this issue before in detail. So, anyone want a penny? No? Okay. Did I miss anything in the chat? Let's take a look. Well, what are you guys working on? I mean, bringing back the full size Impala. Yes, they've been nice. I mean, the cars are, like Challengers and Chargers weigh 4,500 pounds anyway. So what's the difference? That's about what those cars weighed. Maybe even less. And they were bigger and they had chrome and they were cool. And you put 6 people in them with a modern engine and air conditioning and stuff like that. Imagine driving something like that off the showroom with something that big. With 4 doors that could roll down, all the way to pillarless. And a bench seat. And, chrome bumpers and things and chrome trim. Ooh, real chrome trim or polished stainless trim and stuff like that. Like a real car. I think that would be cool. But they booger it up with, backup cameras and airbags and radaring cameras and all kinds of crap, and then they'd want $100,000 for it, and then there we go. We're back to square one. So, but yeah, I'm old enough to remember those big boats. Yeah, I'm old enough to have owned a bunch of those big boats and stuff like that. I had we could show you here. Proof. Come on. Look. Snowmobile. This, I think it was a 73 Oldsmobile Delta 98 two-door Delta 98. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that big slice of pimpeliciousness. Neat, right? That was a cool car. That was a real nice driving car. If I had any brains, I would have kept that instead of getting rid of that as soon as I was able and get something else. What else have I got in here to look at that's good? You've seen the El Camino. You've seen. Oh, here's another picture of the Mustang. These pages might be. And someone that did the kind of the Shelby high beam treatment to it. But yeah, that was my Raven Black fastback 69 Mustang big block drag pack car. Ooh. See, that's a car. That's a pretty car. Right? Right. Da, 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 da. Race cars, race cars, race cars. Here's a 1974 Trans Am. Woo! That was actually a buddy of mine's car, and he sold it to some other guy, and then I had to help the next guy get it running and put it together and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of a weird deal. There's my first car, a 68 Ford Galaxy XL convertible, big block automatic car. Yeah, I wish you could see a little bit better. But it was born in baby piss green. Well, these photos really did not age well, but there's the rear of it. On Keystones, in all white. I don't really have any pictures of it. Well, thing there. But there's young Dr. Art in his convertible in his parents' garage. To prove that one time, yes, I was not the old man. Oh, what's going on? How you doing? Thanks for popping in. Okay. I'm missing some stuff in the chat. Let me go here. Better than buying today. Heck, even 80s real drive station wagon with a V. It was nice. Yep. Put that in my driveway and be in heaven. My truck's still staying for being worked and just driving it. Hey, Olive says, hey to everyone. One of the cars, the Mexican spec, has a Monte Carlo SS with a 350 manual transmission in Mexico for sale. I like that your Trans Am's bought one. Yeah. Good to have you, neat car. Yeah, I've had lots of neat stuff. We can spend all kinds of time. I've even had a beautiful 1984 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz that had the stainless top on it and stuff like that. Wire wheel covers, half Landau top, double tough pillow top, blue leather interior. Another view of the car. Look at that. Look at that car. Dun, 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 dun. More El Caminos. The G-body style on that one. Drove that car for like a year and a half, and I just never liked that one. I don't know why. It wasn't a bad car. It was just never really liked it. Let's go over on this page here. These pictures haven't seen air in 20 years. This was a 75 Oldsmobile Cutlass W25. T-tops, swivel bucket seats, black and gold accent. Dun, 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 dun. And if you can't tell from the background, yes, so this was an up north picture. That was a cool car. I like that car. It was insanely slow. Picture of another one of the Shelbys I had for like 24 hours and made just a ton of money on it. That was a 69 or 70. I think it was a 69 Shelby. Dun, 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 dun. Another El Camino, which was a project car that never really got finished. 69, 68, 69. White car, black vinyl top, rally wheels, small block. For the car. It was a project that just never got finished. Here's one of the. Oh, dang it. Come on, plastic. Says, no, you can't look at those pictures. Oh, here we go. I've had a couple of these. This is a 70 coupe Mustang. Found that, put it all back together, small block, automatic, no big deal car, stuff like that. Sold that. Once I got it together, that car was all right. I had a 70. This is something. I had a 70 coupe, which only got one picture of. I'm not going to show you. With Cleveland in it. Here's a backside of that Mustang. So it was a pretty clean car. It was in primer. It needed paint bad. Interior wasn't bad. Did a bunch of stuff to it. That's a bad picture of that car. What else have I got in here? What else? What else have we got, Dr. Art? Well, let's take a look. A bunch of BS pictures. BS. BS. Okay. Picture time's over. All right, let's catch up with with the chat here. The car, back when Cadillac was worth having, yes. I had friends when I was 16, 17. Their families had Cadillacs and stuff like that, and I got to drive a 74 Eldorado with a 500 in it and stuff like that one summer and stuff like that. Never forget it. That car was cool. But he had a white Eldorado with a 4100 in it. It was pure trash. My 4100, because I bought the car used, and I had it, and it had something weird in the coolant system. So I took it back to where I bought it, and they flushed all the coolant out of it for me, put new coolant in it, and I never had a problem with that thing. Amazingly enough, and the way I drove it back then, yeah, they were not great, but I never had any problem with mine. Looked like a caddy, yeah. Yeah, that's the one. Whitewood tan, if I recall, belonged to a friend of mine in Texas, but another 450 Pontiac I couldn't feed. Yeah. Worked on an Eldorado, getting a power steering pump for it was pain in the ass. Yeah, Cutlass with T-tops, great city cruiser. It was. It was a fun car. It had that his and her side, BS shifter, but the swivel seats, T-tops came out of it, stuff like that. Had little vents in the hood and stuff. It was a cool car for what it was. I was just bringing in tools. Okay. Have a good one. Chilling after work here. I think I should improve my battery powered lighting with all the migraines I've had. With driveway improvements, I could be working on more at night. Yeah. Yeah, my new shop, I put up all LEDs and stuff like that. Its lighting is great. Oh, and I just put on my lift, because I got a 4-post lift. For my birthday, my wife got me a lift lighting kit where it runs a strip of LEDs all the way along the bottom of the lift, the full length, stuff like that. And it gives a little transformer to switch up front. You turn on the switch, it lights up the whole bottom of the car, and you can actually see underneath it. So that was kind of a nice thing to get. I appreciated that very much. Will come in handy for years and years and years. So lighting is always good. So what else you folks got going on? Questions, comments, concerns? Pictures of stuff you want to share? There's the address. That's the new address. Email me just for fun. Yeah, dreaming of having a lift one day, but the ceiling is too low for that one. That's why I built, because when I moved in this house, it had a regular 2 car garage attached to the house, and another basically carbon footprint of a regular two car garage at the end of the driveway. And I wanted to put in a lift, so I recreated 30 feet out from the old garage, put the building on it with 14-foot doors, so I could drive contraband cargo in if I need to. But this way, I could put the lift in there. The walls are 14 feet high, also. So yeah, I wouldn't be working on cars anymore if I didn't have a lift. It's just not worth crawling on the ground when you're aged old man. To be, I'd rather be, I'd just be working on other stuff. But now I got the lift and it's nice. You can put the car up, you can put another car underneath it. I've cut down a remove for Kiwi Sunbeam dash. Nice piece of heartwood. Oh, okay, cool. I was over there one day last week, Wednesday or Thursday, can't remember. I think it was Thursday, and he's doing the wide body kit on it, and he's doing a real nice job of it. So, and the hopes for him using like a Miata floor plan and stuff like floor pan and stuff like that aren't going to work because of the way the firewall sits and stuff like that. So, he's going to have to move the firewall anyway to get that 302 in there. So I don't know what he's going to do. But he is working on it, and he got rid of a few long-term project cars and some customer cars, so he could work on it. So that'll be going forward pretty quickly. Okay, fuel tables, they're supposed to transition from idle to drive seamlessly, right? Yep. That's the plan. That's what that interpolate button is for. You get a good wide open, you get a good throttle, and you hit the interpolate button. And it divides it all up in a nice smooth ramp. And then, yeah, it's just depending on how many segments you have for your bar pressure to separate the fuel timing differences between decel and cruise and wide open throttle. Andy Rooney had a Sunbeam. Cool. Remember laying in the driveway in the middle of winter, changing your start and couldn't pay me enough nowadays. Nope. The car get lit on fire before I did a starter in the rain or in the snow. The New England way, yeah. Stephen H. Bunky Bird, good to see you tonight. Well, good to see you too, sir. Thanks for popping in. We're just chatting about cars and junk and talking silliness. So you haven't missed anything important. I don't think so. Just missed some pictures and things like that. Okay, I think my throttle body commanded open after starting needs to be adjusted for sure. After starting, it drops way down. The ECU catches it right before dying. There's on yours, LS, there should be a torque model loss table somewhere in your overspeed, underspeed, and that's for the idle and the camp. Your torque model loss will take care of that. In Boston, it's usually water pumps and U-joints to change in the snowbank. No, you're all right. Coming a little bit late. You think you're fine. Don't worry about it. Drive-by-wire setup. Yeah, that's what makes it more tricky too. Haven't played with those. There's some people that are much better at that stuff than I am. So, take a few tips and things like that. A drive log helps your tuner a bunch because you can see what's going on with it. Yeah, having that cam installed. Yeah. The cam you play with the VE and things like that to get it to idle properly. That was the hardest thing on the Ranger. After you put the big cam and the turbo and everything on it to get it to idle correctly. I used a base Sloppy Mechanics tune and kind of dialed it from there, and it was good for a couple of years. And I just went back recently, and like in the last year, and dialed in the idle a little bit better. Runs a lot better now. It was over fueling, and I changed some settings and stuff like that through advice of a buddy of mine. And yeah, starts right up idle, doesn't surge up real high in idle and things like that, because he showed me what to change to make it not do that. And it worked. Weird, right? So there you go. Yeah, I'll get a dump. Yeah, and send it to me and stuff like that. I'll take a look at it, and if I don't see anything, I'll ask my buddy Jimmy to take a look at it. Had to do freeze plugs one winter. Don't run water during winter. Yeah. Fun with cars. Buy one. Got to go. See you, bud. Yeah, it's probably bedtime for you out on the Eastern time zone. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you. See you next time. Yeah, I think we've all done freeze plugs in the winter on old shitty cars because you don't have a choice. Because the galley plugs, they just rust and then they get weak, and then the first sign of winter they go and then all your coolant drains out, and then you get them rubber things, you put them in there and they last for a week and they pop out while you're driving. And you know, it goes on and on and on and on and on. So I've shared that pain, sir. Shared that pain of working on cars in the winter. I don't do it. It's like when it's so hot here in the summer, I don't go out in the garage that much. We'll get I got a pretty good heater in the garage and stuff like that, so I can, make it generally comfortable in the winter around here. Again, winters aren't that bad. But if it does get cold like that, I just don't go out there. Laters, fun, yeah, basically, do not run water. All right, I'll see. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to wrap this one up because I'm running out of material, basically, and all that kind of good stuff. But I appreciate you all stopping by, hanging out with me for a little bit on the new channel. The new channel's, growing rapidly as compared to the original channel. To get the first 200, even get the first 100 on the first channel was like, yay! And now it's like, it went pretty quick. And, we're working to 200, then, 500 and 1,000 and 10,000. And, we'll get it all back. So I just got to film some more crap. See you and Tony in a couple days. All right. See you, Stephen. I did it in January last year. I had to change a radiator because the steam pipe broke off that runs to the throttle body in 04 Tahoe. G problem was total stuck closed. Yeah. But you're in Houston. You don't really get winter. So stop it. It was 55. You were fine. But again, thanks everybody for popping in. Like, subscribe, share, all that, the cool YouTube stuff that makes us do all this on a daily and weekly basis. Appreciate you all. We'll talk to you next week. We'll see you. Thanks.